Well, good morning. My name is Naomi, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you this morning. And what I really want to talk about is how you may feel as though you've had a great failure. And I want to talk about great failures, but not how they are failures, but how they may be your biggest success in God's eyes. When I was 18 years old, I was in New York City, and I was sitting with the president of Sony Records, the only company that I'd ever wanted to be with. And she said to me, "Would you like to join our family?" In the next 2 years after that conversation in her office, Sony Records would spend $1 million on me, flying me around the world. My mother asked me a question 2 months away from the big release. If you had to choose, what would you choose to happen first? The second coming of Jesus, or your record coming out? In the next 2 months following that conversation, my entire team of 15 people at Sony Records were fired. Just like that, all of my dreams went poof. And so I did a very humbling thing from going on top of the world, millions of dollars, and I called up the biggest bookstore chain in Canada to ask if I could play in their book aisles, and I called up Chapters. You know, there's something that is a theme all through the Bible, and that is that you cannot have honor without humility. My second record deal came from those bookstores. Well, I was in San Francisco, and I was recording my album. And we went to a restaurant. And we met Santana in this restaurant. Everything started up again. It started. The machine started. The press started. We were on CTV with Lloyd Robertson, national news. We had Billboard magazine writing, "She's the next commanding diva of the decade. She is the melodic debut of the year." What happened next was a great movement of silence. Well, I spent a year in silence, and then I thought, I cannot give up hope. So I wound up picking myself up again, going, I'm not quitting. There's a reason. And I found myself in a city of New York City, in a hip-hop studio of all places. Hip-hop studio, New York. And I was pacing this very narrow little hallway, and I find it so fascinating that it was a narrow hallway, because narrow is the path. And the chauffeur who had picked me up from the airport, he came up and he stood back to the wall, as I stood there back to the wall very uncomfortably, and he said, "I had a dream about you last night." He said, "You're at a crossroads, and you can stop it from ever happening again." Well, I ended up on a flight back to Los Angeles, and who did I run into but Randy Jackson? Only Randy Jackson can do this. Gets out of his seatbelt, stands up, the plane is moving, the flight attendants say nothing, and he proceeds to start singing a song of mine called "Something to Lose." And for the next 6 months, I wrote songs, I recorded in his studio, and I did what every person working with Randy Jackson has to do. I took my mom to American Idol, 1 week away from signing another big deal with Randy. And I called him up, and I said, "I can't do this. I can't do it." For every failure, for every disaster, for everything that has been difficult, for everything that has been hard, for everything that shouldn't be happening, because we were never supposed to feel hurt and we were never supposed to feel pain, but we do. And the Lord says, when you're going through it, I am here. I'm here, just breathe me in. I have a plan for your life. I know what you can be. I know what you can become.